you know what is meant by a cell. What is a cell? Using a cell we are going to draw electric current. That is chemical energy is converted into electrical energy, and we have seen what is meant by cathode, anode, what is electrolyte, what are cations, what are anions. In the cells we have two types of cells. One is the primary cell and the other one is the secondary cell. If you see the major difference between the two cells, and that is the primary and secondary cells, see the spelling itself, the word itself tells you it's a primary cell. It is used only one time. That means here the chemical reactions are irreversible. Here in a primary cell the chemical reactions are irreversible. It cannot be recharged again and again. That is the meaning of it. Once the electrolyte is used, I can't get back the active materials again. That is the main in the primary cells. Once if I use this electrolyte, I want to prepare a fresh electrolyte for drawing current from it. But in a secondary cell it is not like that. I can get back the active materials even though if I used it one time. That is, the chemical reactions are reversible in a secondary cells. The chemical reactions are irreversible in a primary cells. In the primary cells we have two types of cells. One is the Lagrange cell and the other one is the Daniell cell. These two are your primary cells. What that means? That means the chemical reactions in these two cells are irreversible. Once if I use this electrolyte, I can't get back the active materials what I used again. So I have to prepare a fresh electrolyte to draw current from those two types of cells. So first we will discuss about the working of this Lagrange cell. Here it consists of a glass vessel in which a porous part is dipped. It contains this porous part contains manganese dioxide, MnO2 and a powder, charcoal powder. So it's a mixture of, that is the porous part contains a mixture of manganese dioxide and charcoal powder. It is immersed in the electrolyte called ammonium chloride. This is the electrolyte. First make a note of it. Here for all the three types of cells you want to mention which one is the cathode and which one is the anode and which one is the electrolyte and where the chemical reactions take place. First one, the zinc rod which is immersed in the electrolyte, that is your cathode. So zinc rod is cathode and this carbon rod which is immersed in the porous part is your anode. So zinc rod is cathode, carbon rod is anode and the electrolyte is your ammonium chloride. These three are major points here. Now we will see how the chemical reactions take place. First, to begin with, when the zinc rod is immersed in this ammonium chloride solution, due to oxidation reaction, zinc plus ions and two more electrons are produced. Those zinc plus ions, it will react with ammonium chloride. So what is the first point? Due to oxidation reaction at the zinc rod, that is at the negative electrode, zinc plus ions and electrons are produced. Those zinc plus ions pass through the electrolyte and they will react with the ammonium chloride because this is the electrolyte. This, when it reacts with ammonium chloride, it will produce a zinc sulfate, ZnCl2 and producing hydrogen ions. Thus, electrons are deposited on the negative electrode making it more negative. And here the zinc plus ions again it passes through and it reacts with the manganese dioxide making it positive, that is the carbon rod. Here the zinc rod always have excess of electrons. When these two are connected externally to a wire, if I connect it with a wire like this, the two electrons here will pass through the wire externally and they will neutralize the positive ions on the anode. This is the way current flows like this. Always this here, since electrons are flowing like this, current will be flowing from this direction externally, that is the carbon to zinc. How the current flows here? From carbon to zinc. So make a note of it. First you have to write which one is the cathode and which one is the anode and which is the electrolyte and what are the chemical reactions taking place here. The first one you have to write what happens at the zinc rod. Due to oxidation, zinc plus ions are produced and two electrons will be deposited at the zinc rod making it negative. The zinc plus ions will react with ammonium chloride and they will pass through this porous part, and when it reacts, hydrogen gas, zinc chloride and ammonia gas and hydrogen plus ions are produced. These hydrogen plus ions diffuse through the porous part and they will be deposited on the carbon rod. Here it have negative electrons. These negative electrons, when they are connected externally to a wire, they will pass through and they will neutralize the positive ions on the carbon rod. Thus the current flows from carbon to zinc. That is most important. Here this one is at a higher potential than the zinc rod. So the current flows from a rod which is at a higher potential to a rod which is at a lower potential. So, எப்படி current flow ஆகும்? From carbon rod to zinc rod. Here these two will be at a higher potential. The Lagrange cell, it can produce a potential of about 1.5 volt. Coming for this Daniell cell, it consists of a copper vessel in which we have copper sulfate solution. In this copper sulfate solution, we just have a porous part containing dilute sulfuric acid. This is your electrolyte, and here this copper vessel will act as the anode and this ring rod will act as the cathode. Here again we will see what happens to the chemical reactions occurring here. Here the zinc rod, when it reacts with the sulfuric acid, it will produce a zinc plus plus ions and 2 more electrons. This zinc plus plus ions passes through the porous part and they react with the copper sulfate solution, and this copper ions are deposited on the inner side of the vessel. So, making this vessel itself more positive. So, it will act as the anode, and this rod which is having excess of electrons will act as the cathode. And when these two are connected externally to a wire like this, here the 2 electrons are present here. The 2 electrons which are present on the zinc rod passes externally and they will neutralize the copper ions, the U++ ions. Thus, the current flows from copper to zinc. Here copper is at higher potential, that is why current is flowing from copper to zinc. Here in this Daniell cell, we can draw a current of about 1.08 volts. This is the potential developed in your Daniell cell. So, always remember, in these two types of cells, if I got this potential, I can get only feeble amount of current. After this, all the active materials are used up. That is, chemical reactions are got over. I am not having any more active materials. Can I draw current from those two cells? It is not at all possible, because these two, while having chemical reactions, are irreversible in this process. I have to prepare a fresh solution again. But the main use of the secondary cells are, I can use the same cell again and again by getting back the active materials again. This is the major use of your secondary cells. Where you can see the secondary cells? Yeah, when you are using a mobile, what you are doing? When you are using, when the charge is gone, again what you will do? You will recharge, isn't it? So, when you are using the current in the cell, that we call it as the discharging. I am using the current, that is discharge. So, all the points are over. So, what you will do? Again you are going to charge the mobile. What that means? I am getting back the active materials again. That is, the chemical reactions are done in a reverse direction. That is reversible. So, the chemical reactions are reversible in a secondary cell. So, when you draw current, that we call it as the discharging. When you charge, you are going to do the chemical reactions in a reverse order. That is, you are getting back the active materials by reversing the chemical reactions. That we call it as the charging cell. Discharging means getting the, using the active materials or getting current from it. Or charging means getting back the active materials once again. The very good secondary example for secondary cells is your lead acid accumulator. This lead acid accumulator, we have a glass outer external rod is made up of glass or rubber container. Inside I have 2 electrodes. One is spongy lead and the other one is lead oxide. This spongy lead will act as your cathode. Write down what is the cathode in lead acid accumulator, that is your spongy lead, and lead oxide is your anode. It is immersed in a electrolyte, that is your dilute sulfuric acid. Here also same reactions will happen. This lead, due to oxidation reaction, it will produce Pb++ ions and 2 more electrons. These electrons will be deposited on the cathode, making it negative. And here this PbO2 also reacts with the H2SO4, producing H+ ions. Here this Pb, that is spongy lead, it will react with H2SO4, producing H plus Pb+ ions and 2 more electrons. The electrons will be deposited here, making this rod itself negative. This PbO2 also reacts with sulfuric acid, producing Pb++ ions and H+ ions also. This H+ ions will be deposited on this rod, making it positive. When they are connected externally, the same process, electrons from this rod passes through this and they will neutralize the positive ions. So, the current flows from Pb, this positive to negative rod. This is the working. So, after all the current are drawn, what I will do? I will reverse the process so that I will get back the active materials once again. Where you can use this lead acid accumulator, you can see these batteries in lorries, trucks, in your car batteries. All the car batteries are nothing but your secondary cells. Your mobile battery is also your secondary cell only. What is the major use? I can use it again and again without any deterioration of its properties. So here, if we use the lead acid accumulator, how to check its whether during charging, what should be its potential difference, what should be specific gravity, that is most important. So how to check whether it is charged or how whether it is discharged? Just you have to monitor its specific gravity alone. If you monitor its specific gravity, that itself enough for finding out whether it is charging or discharging. So first, when you prepare a fresh shell, when the EMF of a freshly prepared cell, it will be 2.2 volt, 2.2 volt, and the EMF, this is during charging. For a freshly prepared cell, it will be 2.2. When you are using it, that is after discharging, the EMF falls to 2.0 volt. So initially, how will be the EMF? It will be 2.2 volt. When you are using, discharging means you are using it. When you are using it, what happens to that EMF? It will fall to 2 volt. Then, if you have to see the specific gravity also. The specific gravity of this during charging, very important, 1.28. The specific gravity will be 1.28. Is that visible? Specific gravity is 1.28, 1.12 during discharging. So what's your work? How to find out whether it is charging or discharging. During charging, its specific gravity should be 1.28. During discharging, its specific gravity should be 1.12. So if you monitor the specific gravity, that itself enough to maintain the lead acid accumulator or any secondary cell. This is most important one, and the applications of your secondary cells are very important. What is the major application of your secondary cells? I can use it again and again because they are rechargeable. The secondary cells are rechargeable. The chemical reactions are irreversible. They have low internal resistance. Since they are having low internal resistance, I can draw large amount of current from it. So this is a major advantage. They are rechargeable. They have low internal resistance. Since they have low internal resistance, I can draw large amount of current from it. They can be recharged a large number of times without any deterioration of its properties. How to find out, how to check or how to monitor the secondary cell? Only by monitoring its specific gravity. During charging, it should be 1.28. During discharging, it should be 1.12.